So I'm going to take you very quickly through these three things. So the first one is, can we make money? If we say no, we don't go to the site. That's question one. So if it's a no, we have to rethink the plan. Second one, can we do participatory governance and equitable benefit sharing? And we'll analyze that. Because if you get the governance and the economics right, you've got a very high chance of your community working. Three, is there a long-term partner willing to look at the governance and support the implementation? The Western academics tend to say that the reason that people like wildlife, they do the cost benefit. If the benefits are higher, they like wildlife. That's true. But the most important thing we found in the data from Mangalana in southern Mozambique was the rules. The rules were 7 times more important than the cost benefit. And the rules is about CBRM, sovereignty, ownership, respectfulness. If it's their wildlife, they like it a lot more than if they just get benefits. So this whole thing of empowering people over wildlife is the most important thing behind these green curves. So I think that's very interesting to me. So what I often see NGOs doing is they go into somewhere and they think, we're going to make money out of this tree. It's got a special oil. And they raise a lot of money and they never sell anything because they never check the markets because they've been funded and they don't care. So the first thing I do is a private sector test. Is the private sector doing it? If the private sector is not doing it, if the private sector is not making oil out of that tree, then it's bloody difficult, eh? So I do the private sector test. So yes, the private sector is doing hunting tourism. It's good. We know it works on communal land. So what you'll see, and Leandra, one of my colleagues now, she's a professor, they're finding that the attitudes to wildlife are very complicated and very sophisticated. Far more sophisticated than most people think. So despite this, and I think 50% of people had elephants in their fields in Uparo. Do you like having wildlife in the community? Isn't that good? So 73%, we're making progress somewhere. Is wildlife important to our future? 82%.
If the person thinks that it's very good, shop, then they're right here. If it's really, really good, they get 2 smiley faces, and you just circle that. If they're like, it's good, they get 1 smiley face. But if they feel that the AGM was very bad or not even held, then they're really mad about it. They're like, no, the AGM was terrible, it was bad, then it's 2 frowny faces. Do you see how that works? So, and the same thing, as you go down, what you'll find is the question, it's the same topic, but it's how they feel. So you just want to align how they feel. So if somebody says it was bad, you say, well, was it really bad? So you want to gauge if they were just kind of mildly upset with it, or if they're like really mad. And if, obviously, if somebody starts yelling, no, it's like, that's 2 frowny faces. Is there anything you need to translate to make sure it's clear? Do we want to, can everybody understand as they're reading this, what this means?
You don't need to go and get a passage.
Maybe we go through line by line and make sure that everybody understands correctly. My concern is, because you guys, because this is in English, we need to make sure that it's done correctly. You can ask as many as you need to.
You're supposed to prepare.
Oh, of course.
That's what Mama gave.
So, Bonnie, can you introduce us though?
No, I can question her.
Okay, yes.
Okay. What's your age?
22.
Okay, she's 22 in age, and she's a female. Yes, already. Okay, your education grade. Okay. She stopped schooling at grade 11.
Okay.
Yes. I am the member of the CPA. Are you the member of the CPA or you are not the member of the CPA? You are not the member of the CPA. Alright, she says she's not the member of the CPA.
Okay. it's always kind of hard to gauge, if they're happy or really happy,
Okay.
And so just, instead of asking me, I didn't want to sub because it was our very first time doing this.
Yes.
But instead of asking me where to put it, just ask them, like, hey, did you like it, or do you think is it working really well? Like,
Okay. But
so.
what another thing I was doing,
Mhm.
if I ask her a question
Mhm.
and she says yes or no, more especially, let's say she says yes,
Yeah.
I used to ask why. Say
Okay.
if she gives me the reason,
Okay.
I give her the double.
Okay.
But if she doesn't give the reason, but she
Okay.
falls under the positive part, I give her a single.
That's an excellent way of doing it. That's a fantastic way. The interesting thing is that's important to know, because more important sometimes than the answers is finding out that people just really don't know. So it's
Yes.
good. I'm glad that you didn't do too much following up, because then we can start to see patterns emerging that maybe some people don't really understand how this process works, and that is what needs to be fixed.
Maybe before we go further, I would like us to just to share, to check, to test how knowledgeable are we in terms of a dashboard. Basically, we're using a dashboard as a governance tool to monitor and evaluate how CPAs or trusts are performing. So we have adopted the similar concept of a dashboard.
Gives you a bit of information also.
Yeah.
So
Good. So it means that the dashboard conveys a lot of information that tells you about the health of our car. And that gives us a position. We are in a good position if we are well conversant with what's happening in the car, so that we'll be able to reach our destiny. When we see red as executive committee members, it means, for example, we are not working according either to the constitution, we are not implementing what the mandate from the community members. Therefore, it gives ordinary members more power to say this is wrong. Then we can make decisions whether we want to remove corrupt officials or whether we want to elect new executive members. As an example of the dashboard of the robot, we can be able to check whether we are in line or whether we are not working according to what is supposed to be done.
Access to services. It looks at governance and it looks at tolerance to wildlife. So that's at household level. And many of the communities I've worked in, I've been working with communities for 25 years. I have not yet found a community where they ask the community themselves, how do they like the program? That's quite shocking. They haven't asked the customers if they like the program. And I think the lack of a tool to do that has allowed the NGOs to drift away from the original goals.